Recently, there has been a lot of people upset about the lack of diversity in the film industry. That in the majority of movies, the characters are represented as straight, white men, taking on the lead roles and sometimes even the side roles. While I do find diversity to be important, I feel that big movie companies are going about it the wrong way. This goes for adding more characters of color, sexuality, and gender. These movies are lacking subtlety, and I believe that to be the biggest problem.
The women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to X-Women.
Take a movie like Captain Marvel, for example. In my opinion, the movie is fine. It wasn't a bad movie, but in comparison to other movies in the MCU, this one is on the weaker side. You'll see a lot of people saying that the movie is doing poorly because people don't want to see a woman lead in a superhero movie, which couldn't be further from the truth, at least in terms of the majority. People are quick to say Captain Marvel wasn't very well received due to the fact that she's a woman, but these people seem to forget that Wonder Woman exists, arguably the best movie in the DCEU. This is because Wonder Woman is just a superhero movie where the superhero just so happens to be a woman. Just like how the first Iron Man movie is just a superhero movie, where the superhero just so happens to be a man. Throughout Wonder Woman, you are introduced to an interesting character. Wonder Woman as a character was well written with believable motives. She was raised on an island where the only people surrounding her are women, which actually leads to some interesting comedy when a man is introduced in the movie.
So you cannot sleep with me unless I
Look,
marry you.
I'll sleep with you if you want. I'll sleep right there.
There's
I'll sleep.
plenty of room.
Then fine, if you don't mind, I'll be
No,
honest.
it's up to you. I'm just
I
trying.
know it's up to me.
She was raised as a warrior, so she never runs from a fight, and when she finds out Ares, the god of war, is possibly still causing problems, she does whatever she can to take him out, even if the situation she puts herself in is risky and illogical. Once she is brought to London, she is introduced to a small team of, wait for it, only dudes, which in my head I was thinking, oh boy, they're going to make comments about how she is a woman and how she can't do anything just for her to show them all up and rub it in their face that she is a strong woman. And that didn't happen. Sure, there were parts where they questioned her ability, especially when she stepped out of the trenches, but that is justifiable. If anyone in the trenches decided to step out, the other soldiers would question that person's sanity. But because she is Wonder Woman, it doesn't serve as a huge problem for her as she gives the rest of the troops the ability to move forward. After the fight is done, she doesn't make any snarky comments about how they doubted her. She is actually friends with this group. Every character is treated equally. You actually see Wonder Woman's struggles and problems as a character, and it makes her feel real. When it came to Captain Marvel, people were going nuts about how she was a female superhero, seemingly ignoring the existence of Wonder Woman. They focused too much on showing a female can be powerful and seem to have pushed aside the fact that a movie needs a good story. There wasn't much character when it came to Captain Marvel. She was just a female with incredible strength and evidently no weaknesses. We don't see her go through any struggles or face any actual problems. There isn't a lesson for the character to learn, and that's what makes her boring. Even Captain Marvel in Endgame posed as just a character to remind you that, hey, women can be strong too, when Black Widow is standing right there, who is by far a more interesting character. My favorite scene with Captain Marvel in Endgame is when Thanos absolutely obliterates her. And it's not because I'm some sexist who loves to see women get beaten up. It's because it showed she isn't indestructible. Captain Marvel can lose, and she is supposed to be able to lose. If a character walks up and can win every fight they are in, you're going to get bored. Black Widow, Gamora, the Wasp, Nebula, Valkyrie, etc. all have things in common other than the fact that they are all women. They are real characters. We have seen them fail and have watched them face struggles to then rise against them. Captain Marvel hasn't had any of that. Maybe we haven't given the character enough time yet, who knows. I hope that in her sequel we get to see some of that. I think Brie Larson can play a good Captain Marvel, she just needs to be given the right movie to show it. An example I love to mention when people try to say men don't like to watch strong female characters comes from one of my favorite movies, and that's Mad Max Fury Road. The movie is titled Mad Max, but the movie really belongs to Furiosa. There isn't a single point where Furiosa and Mad Max have a gender quarrel. Sure, they have fought in the movie, but that's not the reason behind the fight. They have a good story reason to have fought each other. They are both great characters who end up having respect for each other, and you don't see anyone complaining about her as a character. These examples apply to every form of implementing diversity. Don't focus on making a black main character just to make a black main character. Focus on making a good character. Black Panther is an awesome character. He's honestly one of my favorites. His movie isn't my favorite, but his character is up there. Into the Spider-Verse is one of my favorite movies to exist, and you didn't see the movie trying to make a big deal out of it being an African-American Spider-Man. He's just a Spider-Man with fantastic character. Forcing diversity upsets people, because we probably aren't going to be getting a good movie out of it. I have high hopes for Black Widow because we have been shown she's an awesome character, and if they want to in the future make a gay superhero, I'll be all for it, if they do it right. Don't make the fact that they are gay the big crazy aspect of the character, because that's not how people are. That's literally not real life. The focus needs to be brought back on making compelling stories with compelling characters and away from who they are representing. Representation is important, but it shouldn't be the sole aspect of a movie. Making a good piece of film that speaks to audiences and helps them escape reality and feel things is what should be most important.